everyone, and thanks for joining me on my podcast, Profit with a Plan. This is where you can get some great ideas to create your most profitable self and small business. Just so you know, financial planning isn't only for those that have a lot of money or run big companies. A workable financial plan is for us everyday small business owners and professionals that want to keep more of our hard-earned money and make great financial decisions. So join me, Marcia Reiner, your certified financial planner and professional financial strategist, each Tuesday for some smart ideas that can add more profits to your bottom line. I'm really passionate about working with successful business owners who are working their ass off every day. This may sound familiar, investing everything they have into their business, only to feel that although they may be making good money, they don't have a lot to show for it. They're not sure if they'll be okay since they don't work for a big company with a big pension or retirement. They're self-employed small business owners after all. I help them gain clarity, confidence, and control over their money so that they can increase their profits and have more, importantly, have more money to take home. They no longer feel stressed about their finances, and they can focus on their business growth that will in turn bring them even more money. If you know of anybody that may be curious, please share my podcast or let's chat. You can book a call with me to create greater profits. So get on my scheduler at calendly.com/Marcia-16. So let's get on with today's podcast. It's an early Tuesday morning after all for me, so I'm finding I'm kind of stumbling. But the topic of our podcast today is the early bird, hence me stumbling a little bit because it's kind of early in the morning. So what I feel is really important about this early bird is getting up early. And why do we get up early? Well, in most instances, we can have a good cup of coffee, yes, and have some undisturbed work, where if we're getting up early and we're getting started before the day really gets going, you can get that undisturbed work in. So there's not the other things that are bothering you or challenging you that you can get in the way. I follow a gal that says, believe it or not, get up at 5 a.m. every morning and go to work, and you're quiet and you can get so much more done because it's undisturbed work. You don't have to be someplace, the phone isn't ringing, and you can just get that stuff done that maybe you couldn't get done before. Now, this takes some practice. Nobody says just go get up and, maybe your mind isn't working at 5 or even 6 in the morning. But if you can get up and get up a little bit earlier than you originally do or you used to do, making it a good startup, that undisturbed time, you can be so much more productive with it. So try getting up early. And again, it doesn't happen overnight, right? Literally, I guess. You have to kind of work towards it. So you set an alarm and you get up a little bit earlier, and then you get used to that and you get up a little bit earlier than that. But go into your space where you work. Maybe it's even a quiet place at your home where you can just start working on your business, not in your business. Like every day we work in our business and we're dealing with clients and projects and marketing and doing all that kind of stuff that we're trying to grow our business. But if we get up early and we spend that maybe an extra hour just working on our business, this is a great time to do it when you're undisturbed and there's nothing else that you can be doing or you feel like you should be doing, like making phone calls or, prospecting. If you do it early in the morning, you can really just focus on your business, not on your business. And what does on your business really mean? On your business means that you're working to plan. What's the next step? What's the next strategy? How do I get to that position? You're thinking about the big pictures. And maybe even you're working on a little bit of the smaller pictures, such as marketing. Working on your business in my world even involves doing continuing education. I'm required and just finished 24 hours of continuing education for one of my licenses. And I have several licenses. So that 24 hours plus another 40 hours plus another so many more hours, I have to bust out every year. So I find that working early in the morning, getting up early, that's the time where I can just bust that out. But more importantly, the planning time is when I can bust that out and I can really focus and come in and try and get some clarity on my business. Getting up early and coming in early to your work or your quiet place in your home where you can do some work is a great time to do prep work. So we all have things that we need to do before our next appointment, whether we're doing art. I've been working with some tattoo companies lately, and that's his prep time of when he's going to do his design work and he can really think about it. I've got a gal that works has a salon, and this is where she does her ordering. So prep time is important. If you're working on a client project, this will give you a little extra time to prepare. Maybe it's prep time for your client, your new client you're going to meet. Getting up early and working that prep time really just gives you that quiet peace that you can focus even more on how you're going to land that next client or do the things you need to do. So getting up early also allows you to prepare for your day. And one of my previous mentors and employers wanted us to prepare for our day the night before. That never seemed to work for me. Like at the end of the day, I'm beat, I'm done. I just want to tap out and go home and have a glass of wine, not prepare for my next day. So I preferred to come in early to my last position and do my prep work for the day. Kind of balance out, look at my calendar, figure out who am I going to meet with? What do I need to do to prepare for that client? What pieces do I need in line? And it gave me that extra time to just get that focus. So that's why I think getting up early and being the early bird is the good thing to do in your business. Now, many of us, like I said, aren't early birds, and so it might take some challenge to it. But if you're just absolutely not an early bird, maybe you need to be a late bird, an owl, a midnight owl that will have this quiet time for you to do that undisturbed work and get on your planning where you're working on your business and preparing for the next day and mastering your calendar. The next part I wanted to talk about is why get started early? So our focus today is early bird. So why get started early? Getting started early kind of focuses on being innovative, right? So if we're focusing on our business and we're doing something, maybe we're out and we're innovating and we're creating and we're doing something that others aren't doing. That's also an early bird, right? We're creating a new product. We're creating a new system. We're mastering a new market. We're doing a new product, a new widget, a new process that we work with clients. If we're getting started early and we're even getting ahead of the crowd, right? So when we're ahead of the crowd and we're doing something early because we got started early, it leads to you becoming an expert, right? Because you created, you innovated, you designed this new thing, this new system, this new title, this new thought-provoking idea that could be transformational to your clients and your community and your tribe because you designed it. Innovation and getting started early in a business. Maybe you're trying to do something different from somebody else. The only way you can do that is to be different and get started early. It's a great place to be ahead of the crowd and out front with this new innovation this new person, this new client type, this new service, it's a wonderful place to be because they think of you as the leader. Last week we spoke about leading, and that leading often involves the innovation and being out in front and getting started early. So don't be afraid to be that leader, that expert, and creating something that has never been created before, or a new twist on an old idea or product. Get out there. This will be huge for your business and your profits if you are out ahead of the crowd doing something before somebody else. And what's even a better compliment to your idea is that you're doing it and others follow, right? So then when others follow, you become that expert and leader, and people will come to you because you did it first. You're the creator, you're the innovator. And as I've spoken in the past few weeks, there's only two things you need to do in your business that create income. And one of those is innovation, and the other one is marketing, right? If you don't create something and you don't market it, you don't have a business. Those are the only two money-making pieces you've got. But to get started early and be ahead of the crowd, wow, think about it. It's another way of being the early bird. You know, it gets the worm, right? So if we're early birds and we're getting up early and doing that undisturbed time, and we're being creative early to the game, we're going to get that worm, right? Not that I want to eat a worm, but how about more money, more profits, right? That's what we're talking about in this podcast, is always how do we get more profits? And I always base it on the reason that it has to have a plan. So what is your plan for getting up early and getting ahead of the curve? Something to think about. The next piece I want to talk about is how to plan to get out early. Little play on words. Every one of my clients I talk with, I always ask them, why are you in business and what's the end game? And when we have an end game, that's how we build the business. So the end game isn't to make money. Well, it's the process or the function of it, but it's what are you going to do with this business that you're creating with all your hard-earned time, money, sweat, frustration that you're putting into this business? What's your game plan? And I always ask my clients, let's create your exit on day one. So when we do that, we're planning the way to get out, and it's best done early. So when we're planning your exit strategy, we have to think about how you develop your structure of your business, how you create processes that you have in your business, and how your clients are coming to you, and how easily you're going to be able to exit this business and sell it for a profit. Businesses are great retirement plans if you create it day one to sell it day couple thousand, whatever that is that you're going to do it later on. But you got to have that plan up front and early when you're in your business, so that way you can create everything you do with the goal to sell this business to somebody else later on and make your money back for all your hard-earned tears. So when you have an exit in mind early on, you can often sell it for more money and not walk away. Let me tell you a couple of stories that happened to me and people that were close to me, actually my parents, which is one of the big reasons I am in my business and planning. My mother created an amazing, innovative mortgage company in the late 80s, I think it was, probably mid 80s. She created it with a friend of hers and started working, and then created these satellite companies that were all over the area. And she created processes and systems to be able to allow the salespeople to work off site and do all of these innovations, where large companies came to her and asked her to show them how she did it. Jump forward years and years and years, she always thought that she would sell her business, but as her business started to change, she didn't change with it, and therefore she didn't put the systems in place and keep it moving in a way where she could sell it later on. So she made, I would say, close to $2 million in her business in income and profits over the, maybe 10, 12 years that she had it running. And then at the end, because she didn't have a strong exit strategy, she walked away and closed the doors, and her retirement plan consisted of the value of a copier. She really didn't have that plan. She didn't have the plan working in place. And although she made good money and was able to save and put away, she got nothing for her company. That's a fail in my mind, because had she had just kept the processes going, kept the people going, kept the systems going, keeping all of her exit ideas in mind and setting up systems that she didn't have to be there, she could have sold her business for $500,000 with all the clients and the name and everything she had in there, and then had more money towards her retirement. But she didn't put all of the systems in play for the exit. She only had the systems in play as for the during. So when we work with people and you want to have that exit, you've got to work in it. Ideally, it takes a good 10 years of planning and processes and systems to have you in a place that you can walk away from your business and get top dollar for it. So it is part of planning. And when you start early, like day one or where you are today, to start putting those pieces in place so your business can be a marketable company that you can walk away from and get a retirement income, get paid out on it, all of those things that you want to do, and get your return on your investment from working so hard in your business. It takes a plan that starts early. So why putting a plan together so early? And this is just general planning, not just your exit plan. When putting a plan together early, it gives you time to design it the way you want. Design all the moving pieces with it. And a plan should take everything into consideration. Where you are today, where you want to go tomorrow, all the potential risks you're taking, all the factors that could come up and affect the profitability of that plan. But it takes some time to really dig in deep. So starting early gives you time to work on the plan and get it to the direction that you want it to go in. And a plan is a working, breathing process. I call it a document, even though it's not a document. A plan is a working, breathing entity in itself. It's not something you design and shove in a drawer and come back and look annually. It's something that requires tweaks and movements and adjustments along the way, because through life, it's never a straight line. It's always just a move to the left and move to the right and move to the left and move to the right. I had a client we had this discovery with last week, and he said, well, I just want to go straight. Well, straight is the shortest path, but it's never straight. It's always some minor adjustments here and there. So plan for those adjustments. But it does take some time to design it with those adjustments in place. Planning also takes time, so you should get going earlier to implement the plan. Once you lay out where you want to go and you start working backwards and you put all the pieces in place, it takes time to start implementing it. Like any diet, you never got there. You never gain the weight overnight. You're not going to lose it overnight. A plan is the same way. It's not going to happen overnight, but you've got to take these baby steps to move you along the way. So the earlier you can get the plan started, the longer you'll have time to make those adjustments and implement. So early planning means greater success, means greater profits, and means that you can transfer the business someday in the future. You can create innovation and be the leader and expert, and you can have all the time that you need to plan and design and work that through. I hope you've seen that getting up early really can be beneficial to your business, and doing things early can be beneficial for your business. And planning early is absolutely beneficial for your business. So being the early bird is a good thing to be. If you have to be a midnight owl, just call yourself an early bird in mind, but owl at sleep. I implore you to try and get up early and do some of the things that can improve your business. Well, thanks for listening today. I hope you got an idea or two to put into your business that will make you more profitable. I'd love to hear your questions, feedback, and ideas for future shows. Eventually, we'll start with some interviews in Q2, which we're getting close. I've got a couple of people lined up on sales and marketing, and this will help you more with your business. So you can reach out to me on any of my social channels at Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all at Bella Financial, or Marcia Reiner, or you can check out my website at bellafinancialgroup.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast. You won't want to miss the future podcasts. And please don't make me the best kept secret. Share this podcast with your friends. If you do follow me, I will give you a gift, my Get Financially Organized workbook. This is what I take my clients through in the first step of every single client appointment. We go through and get them financially organized. So I'm going to give that to you for free. So hit me up, follow me, and share me with your friends. You can catch Profit with a Plan podcast on any of your favorite players, Podbean, iTunes, iHeart, Google Play, and Stitches. Looking forward to some more great profitable information on next week's show. And until then, make your plan and profit with it.